Russia is no longer cooperating with the U.S. and Europe at the International Space Station. The country's space director says the restoration of normal ties between the partners at the station will only be possible if sanctions against Moscow are lifted. Last week, I spoke with former NASA astronaut Jose Hernandez about this decision. Here's our one-on-one interview. Here are some other stories making headlines across the country tonight. Health officials in Philadelphia, workers in Staten Island, New York, voted to unionize on Friday, marking the first successful U.S. organizing effort in the retail giant's history. The union drive, another round of severe weather, is moving into the Central Plains. So far, the spring season has been accompanied by strong winds, heavy rain, and deadly tornadoes. News Nation's Eric Stone it's a real workout, but it happens in the virtual world. Either way, it's no sweat for News Nation's Rich Jamiro in today's Tech Smart. Certainly have come a long way. In the second hour of News Nation Prime, millions of Americans are dealing with student loan debt, with growing calls to cancel. Evan Lambert, thank you. Rising concerns out of the nation's capital over inflation. The White House says pausing student loan payments should help ease the pain, but Republicans are calling that effort the exact wrong thing to do. News Nation's Washington, D.C. correspondent Raquel Martin has more on the battle to simmer inflation. News Nation Prime, drug overdoses are on the run. The CDC says over a one-year period, more than 105,000 Americans died of drug overdoses. About two-thirds of them were because of synthetic opioids like fentanyl. That is more than all the gun and auto deaths combined. And it takes just 2 milligrams of fentanyl to kill the average person. Last year alone, the DEA seized more than 15,000 pounds of fentanyl. That's enough to kill every single American, nearly 330 million people. 2,000 pounds have already been seized this year. And remember, it's only April. And while you may think it would never happen to you, that you would never take fentanyl, welcome back. Here are some other stories making headlines across the country. A crackdown on ghost guns could come at one of the largest cities in the world remains on lockdown amid a new COVID outbreak. People living in Shanghai are complaining there isn't enough food or other necessities to go around. 3 local officials have been fired for their slack response to the outbreak, and the effects could be felt overseas too, as the shutdown is slowing production at factories making parts for companies like Apple and Tesla. News Nation's Tom Negevin explains the impact that could have right here in the U.S. Imagine throwing a winning lottery ticket in the trash and then hoping you can find it. That's what happened to Mary Elliott, who searched through her garbage to claim her $110,000 prize. News Nation's Adrian Bankert spoke with her after she was lucky enough to be able to find it. An incredible final day at Augusta National, including an impressive comeback effort from Rory McIlroy. McIlroy came out. Let's get you caught up on what's to come this week. Monday, U.S. citizens will have the option to select X when identifying their gender on U.S. passport applications. The U.S. will join Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and other countries with similar gender-inclusive passport policies. The X option will be available for other forms of documentation next year. Tuesday, the Consumer Price Index, a key measure of inflation, will be released. Economists forecast the numbers will show prices rose at an 8.3% clip over the past 12 months. That would be up from February's year-over-year increase of 7.9%, which was a 40-year high. Wednesday, Vice President Kamala Harris will deliver remarks on ending the maternal mortality crisis among Black women. This year marks the 5th anniversary of the Black Maternal Health Week campaign. The goal is to amplify the voices of Black mothers and center the values and traditions of the reproductive and birth justice movements. Thursday, Pope Francis will hold a Holy Thursday Mass of the Lord's Supper in Vatican City. Holy Thursday is celebrated with the traditional foot washing ceremony by Catholic priests to commemorate the Last Supper of Jesus when he washed the feet of his 12 apostles as an act of humility. Friday, major stock and bond markets around the world will be closed for Good Friday, and Passover begins at sundown. Passover is the Jewish festival celebrating the exodus of Israelites from Egyptian slavery. And that is all for us this evening. Thank you for spending your prime time with us.